What's up, everybody? Welcome to Philly with John Marks on PHLY. As always, brought to you by Bet Parks and Central City Toyota. Right now, the Eagles are now only 1-point underdogs. The line has moved by a half a point right now on Bet Parks app. Eagles +1. Get it while it's hot. Does it go down to a pick 'em by kickoff? More on that in a second. Shout out to everybody that checks in every morning live at 8 a.m. on YouTube, our Mad Chatters. Subscribe, hit the like button, comment, get involved in the live chat as many of you do every morning. But if you can't watch it live, you can watch it whenever, right? At your convenience. Just watch the show and subscribe to PHLY and like, comment, etc. Good morning to everybody out there that is listening a little bit later on in the day in the podcast form. The audio podcast is available every single day. Right about 9:15 or so, Tyler gets it cooking. So hi to everybody out there. We are one day closer to the Super Bowl. And at this point, I'm not going to say that it feels like it's overconfidence from the fan base at all, because I don't think it's overconfidence. I think it's a calm confidence. It's a yes, it does feel like we're going to win the Super Bowl. Tyler said it to me earlier. He was texting with friends, and I totally agree. A lot of people that I talk to, a lot of my friends, a lot of people that I see out, I think they're going to win the Super Bowl. I think the Eagles are the better team. No reasoning, we're going to win by 30 points. No, like, this is the better team. And it's not just in Philly. And I'm not going to tell you that it concerns me. It's just an observation that friends that I talk to that are in the business across the country, interviews that I've done, and I'm pretty much doing interviews every day. Today I'm in San Diego on the Ben and Wood show at 11:30 Eastern, 8:30 Pacific time. So I'll jump on with those guys. They're great. But most of the people that I talk to say they think the Eagles are going to win, which is weird, because you would think that, all right, the Chiefs are the favorite. They're going for the three-peat. No one believes in Jalen Hurts, but no, like, everybody sees what we're seeing, which is the Eagles are a very good, balanced football team. So, like, I like when everybody doesn't think the Eagles can win and are against the Eagles. Like, remember the Packers game? The conversation was, if there's any team that's going to be upset in the weekend, everybody picked the Packers beating the Eagles. Everybody. Then it was the Rams and the Eagles. And I remember on one website or one show, everybody picked the Rams to beat the Eagles, which was really weird. So now we're here. And I think you're going to get a lot more people, media, analysts, hot takers, that are going to pick the Eagles to beat the Chiefs. So as we're here on a Wednesday now, and it's just an amazing job down in New Orleans from our PHLY Eagles guys, Jamie and Bo, and Zach Berman's down there reporting and being on the show. Fran has joined everybody down there. I mean, it's been amazing. Vinny Curry doing great work as a correspondent for PHLY. So it's been a really, really good week with great stuff down there. But it's also Tuesday of Super Bowl week, so there's not a ton that's going on. I know a lot of people say, yeah, it's Super Bowl week. It's quiet Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday revs up, then Thursday and Friday will be totally nuts. But it's kind of where we are right now with the Eagles. The confidence continues, at least with me. But in observation, the country seems like not only are they rooting for the Eagles as the lesser of two evils, but they think they're the better team. And I don't think that changes between now and kickoff. And in fact, just looking at the line going down a half a point, maybe this gets to a pick 'em by the time the game actually happens. So if you're looking to bet the Eagles, I would buy in now. I actually am wearing the Tyler Zulli. I'm wearing the sweatshirt that, and it's still in really good shape because I don't bring it out that often. This is the sweatshirt that I wore in the parade. So working at WIP, Ike and I were asked, we're like, hey, do you want to be on one of the buses for the parade route? And I'm like, no, like, yeah, no, like, I'm not worthy. It was weird, man.
I'm not worthy, I think, is how every Philadelphia Eagles fan would, if they got asked to be on a parade float.
Yeah. Yeah, no, like, I'm literally not worthy. I'm not worthy to do it. But then Spike was like, no, we're asking you guys to do it. And of course, I'm not going to say no. And I was like nervous. First, I was on the bus, and we were on the top of the buses with the defensive backs or the running backs, and they ended up switching. And by the time the end of the parade, everybody was everywhere, and it was nuts. I might have been the defensive backs. Who was the secondary coach that went on to be a defensive coordinator, and he didn't have success as a defensive coordinator? Corey something. What was his name? Anyway, I remember him being on the bus, and people were pegging beers to everybody on the bus. I got hit with
Corey Unland,
who was a really good guy. I got hit easily with 3 or 4 beers in the head. Easily. And not direct blows, but like people trying to catch it, it bounces off its hands and it hits you in the head. But Corey Unland, I think, might have drank 100 beers catching them. Like Wade Boggs. He might not have finished 100 beers, but every beer that he caught, he opened up and he's like this. It was crazy. So yeah, there's actually this picture. The Amazon Prime was following around the Eagles that year. And I didn't know it until they were actually in the playoffs. And then I ended up being, as they're running at the end of the show, they're running like the credits, and there's a picture of me wearing this sweatshirt in the Amazon thing. So anyway, so this is like, I didn't want to bring this out on Friday, so I brought it out on Wednesday. This is what I wore to the Eagles parade. And it becomes more and more real as we get closer to the game. Bob Cooney's going to join us in about 15 minutes or so. Jamie Lynch, we're going to wake up in New Orleans. We're just going to call him live on the air. That's in the last segment of the show, about 30 minutes from now or so. Couple of things here. 76ers won last night. We'll get to a little bit of that coming up. Joel Embiid returned kind of out of nowhere. More of that coming up in a second. This portion of the show also brought to you by Glatt Hair Restoration. GlattHairMCTR.com, 610-980-4000. I got the freshie from Razor Bar yesterday. As you can tell, the beard is gone. I look human again. Look a couple years younger. Hair looks good. So obviously everybody's annoyed with Taylor Swift. And I started off just being like, it's cool or whatever. Like, I don't want to be a hater. Like, does anybody have any interest in Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce at this point? I don't. Tyler, are you still like super duper like excited? Like, oh, Taylor Swift, Travie, Uncle Travie, and everything else? Probably not, right?
I mean, no, I'm not like super duper excited about it anymore. No, but I don't have any issue with it either. You know, like, it's two very, very famous, very important people.
It's annoying. It's become annoying. And I for a while, it's just like, just leave them alone. It's fine. It's become annoying. And Tyler, not necessarily because of them, just because they're two big pros. So I got an email yesterday. There's 89 Taylor Swift prop bets for the Super Bowl. 89. Now, why not go to 90? Why 89? Because they literally milked every last drop that they could to get to 89. Some of my favorite ones: will Taylor Swift be seen during the national anthem? No is minus 600. So that's the heavy underdog. Who will be seen first during the national anthem? Taylor Swift or Travis Kelce? Travis Kelce's the heavy favorite there. Will Taylor Swift be shown in her suite during the halftime show? Will she be on stage with Kendrick Lamar during the halftime show? That's a heavy minus 5,000. Are you a halftime show devotee? Because you're sporty. You're very sportsy.
I am when the Eagles are not in the Super Bowl. Because like that 15 minutes or that 10 minutes or whatever it is like my period where like I just like breathe for a second, right? Because you sat through 30 minutes of your team trying to win a Super Bowl. That's like my like, I'm gonna go get a beer. I'm gonna go talk to some people, get a bite to eat, go step outside and take a breath. Like that's
smoke some cigarettes. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't smoke, but that theory, right?
It's a great point.
Like, when the Eagles are not in the Super Bowl, yeah, because it's part of the festivities. It's part of the party. When the Eagles are in the Super Bowl, I don't even remember who performed at the 2017 Super Bowl.
I don't either.
I could not tell you. I could not tell you who performed in 2022. I think it was it Rihanna?
I legitimately have no idea.
I think it was Rihanna, but I don't remember. Like, I know Kendrick Lamar is going to do it, but 2 years from now, am I going to remember because the Eagles are in the Super Bowl? When they're not, I watch the halftime show.
It's a great point because I don't remember any of that. Here's what I remember when the year they won the Super Bowl. That I like took a deep breath and was like, they can win the Super Bowl. Like, they legitimately have a chance to win the Super Bowl. Now, I also a Nick Foles tattoo was riding on my back, and I'd said it out loud, and my wife said, "Well, you're not going to get the tattoo," and I'm like, "Yeah, I am," and I'm like, "I've played the whole thing up.
Yeah, you can't.
I can't back out
Can't leave now.
No, even if what I should have done was done a Fugazi tattoo and like got a
henna tattoo.
Yeah, get something like that as opposed to a permanent tattoo of somebody that supposedly looks like Nick Foles on my back, which I have. But like that was like, you're right. Like that's a deep breath. It's like, all right. I have no interest in the halftime show this year, by the way. And it's probably why I have even less interest in Taylor Swift, because I want them to lose so bad. I really, really do. There are some other ones. Let me see here. Well, the broadcast mentioned Taylor Swift was an Eagle fan. Yes, plus 550. No, minus 1,000. I mean, I think you mentioned it, right? I don't know. Who was shown more times, Jason Kelce or Taylor Swift? Taylor Swift's a heavy favorite in that one. What's the other ones before we move on? Well, Taylor Swift give double high fives to someone. No is minus 175.
What? That's a prop?
Yeah. There's 89 of them, dude. Will Taylor Swift do heart hands? Minus 300. Will Travis Kelce do heart hands and point to Swift? Where's a couple more? Well, which food will Taylor Swift be seen eating first? Nachos is the favorite.
What?
Popcorn, hot dog, hamburger. A churro is the long shot at plus 800.
You know what? I'm actually, the party that I go to, I'm going to make a bunch of prop bets about me. And I'm going to hand them out on a sheet to people and let people, I'm going to bookie my own Super Bowl party.
It's not a bad idea. Last one is there's a nip slip. Will Taylor Swift have an accidental nip slip? Minus 10,000 is no. So there you go. So stupid. Yeah, really, it's like this totally takes your normal Super Bowl routine out because the Eagles are playing. I don't care about any of this other stuff. I don't care about prop bets. I don't care about any of it. I'm so freaking plugged into the game. I don't care. So Taylor Swift, you're just going to have to, and please lose. The only thing that would be good if the Chiefs won is Travis Kelce may retire, and then we don't have to deal with this crap anymore. But that's that. Let's get to our game ball, which is proudly brought to you by our friends at Xfinity Mobile. Join the millions who have switched to one of the fastest growing mobile services, Xfinity Mobile. Game ball to Joel Embiid. His first game in a month, and he had a triple-double to Joel Embiid. And did anybody know that he was coming back? Was this even, because honestly, I'm out. I have no interest in the 76ers or the Flyers or anything right now. The Eagles are in the Super Bowl. This is Super Bowl week. I am not. I did see that he was playing last night. And the reaction that I got was like, he's playing tonight? So did Joel Embiid just show up and say, I'm playing? Is that how things work? Because as we've learned, he seems to dictate pretty much everything with his injuries, including what the team is saying about it. But he did return last night. And here's my question. Why? Why is he playing? Why is anybody playing for the Sixers right now? Why is Joel Embiid back? He talked about after the game about how hasn't had a chance to get healthy because he keeps trying to come back and like it's frustrating and all this other stuff. All right, dude, then get healthy and take the rest of the season off. They're not winning the finals. They're not advancing to the Eastern Conference Finals.
So here's the kind of the timeline. So just to Kyle tweeted this at 5:15. Embiid is available tonight. So the game's at 7. They played at 7 last night. Embiid's available at 5:15. So how did that decision get determined, right?
Because he showed up and said, I'm playing tonight.
Do you really think that that's as simple as what it is?
Well, ask Bob Cooney, who was on the beat for many years, if he thinks that's what happened. Because if I was betting on what happened, I would say that happened.
If that's the case, that's kind of a strange way things have been handled. If he just decides, hey, I'm playing. Like, if the doctors and the medical staff cleared him and then they arranged this to be the game where he returns, that's one thing. But if he just decided to show up,
I don't think he ever wasn't cleared to play. I just did he's injured. His knee's injured, and it's swelling. I think he showed up and played. Now, would it be a bad decision to bring him back Super Bowl week? because less people are paying attention and you can bring them back and there's not going to be a big deal made about it or whatever. Honestly, I'm not really sure. I don't know what would be to gain with burying it during the Super Bowl week. But, I mean, honestly, that's when you shut them down for an extended period of time would be Super Bowl week. I just wouldn't play him the rest of the season. What's the point? Tank. He said himself he's not healthy and he can't get healthy. You think the knee's going to be better and he's going to play the rest of the games here? Like, come on, what are we talking about? Right? Like, does he play the next game? I don't even know when they're playing again. Like, what? They don't need to win a lot of games.
I think they have a back-to-back. Don't they play again tonight?
They probably
they play the Heat tonight.
So he's not playing tonight.
So they play tonight, they play Friday, they play Sunday. So they have 3 games in the next 5 days.
So does he sit out tonight and sit out Friday, and then he plays Sunday? There's a lot determined on what happens with the knee.
They're playing the Bucks on Sunday.
On Super Bowl Sunday, which no one's going to pay attention.
You'll see him. He'll play Sunday.
I mean, does anybody else agree with me? Like, why is he playing? He's not healthy. He says he's not healthy. Everybody knows he's not healthy. And honestly, isn't a high draft pick, more important than putting Joel Embiid out there so he can have a triple-double and they can win? They were headed in the wrong direction. Like, that's good. Paul George isn't playing any games yet. Was he hurt his finger or something? Is that the most latest injury? Jesus, trade him.
Here's the problem with the play-in and the make the playoffs, don't make the playoffs thing. The Nets stink. The Raptors stink. The teams below them are worse than them. The problem is it's Chicago. Chicago is the problem. They're only a game ahead of the Sixers. They've already traded LaVine.
Yep.
They're a mess.
Yeah, they weren't looking for good pieces back for LaVine. They were looking to get out of that salary.
Correct. And I think they're also looking to have that better of a draft pick, right? So the Bulls are probably going to fall out of the top 10. It feels almost inevitable that the Sixers are going to be in the playoffs.
I agree.
And by the playoffs, of course, I mean the play-in tournament. And then you start that people are going to have the conversation of, well, if it's the Hawks and the Sixers, or whatever, like the Sixers can beat the Hawks at full strength. Yeah, I think they can. Can the Sixers beat the Magic or the Heat at full strength? Plausibly, right? It's possible.
Yeah, I agree.
And then all of a sudden you're going to find the Sixers in the playoffs as the 7 or 8 seed.
Right.
And then you're going to go, all right, well, they're playing Boston in the first round. Here's a quick 5-game series and they're out. And all of this was for nothing because now Oklahoma City gets the pick. And it's a lot of transpiration, over the next couple of months. And the likeliest scenario is that the Sixers are going to be in the play-in tournament.
Agreed. Well, we'll get Bob's thoughts on what happened with Embiid because I hadn't heard anybody saying that he was close to returning or anything like that. Everything was ambiguous because I don't think we're given information because Embiid's camp, as we've heard from many people now, when you say Embiid's camp, that obviously means Embiid, is very sensitive when it comes to his injury information being put out there. Now, all of a sudden, he's playing, and he says he's not healthy. Oh, God. Just unbelievable. So that's coming up next with Bob. Sixers also traded away Caleb Martin, 31 games in his Sixers career, signed to a 4-year contract before the season. And he's like a good part of a team, for sure. And his contract was actually, I think, very, very plausible. And he probably had a lot of interest out there. They trade him for Quentin Grimes, who it's actually a little bit of, he's a good player. He can help the Sixers. He's also a restricted free agent. They get a second-round draft pick back that they traded away a couple years ago. But this was really the financial impact on the Sixers. They saved a bunch of money off the luxury tax, and it might mean making Yabusele easier to re-sign for next season, which I would say would be a pretty big deal if you're still trying to win this thing. Which I wanted to blow this up, but it doesn't seem like Daryl Morey is going to do that. All right, Bob Cooney on the Eagles. Does he sense the same type of swing towards the Eagles? The Eagles were going to lose to everybody, right? Oh, the Packers are going to beat the Eagles. The Rams are going to beat the Eagles. Oh, my God. Now the Eagles seem like they're the consensus pick with a lot of people out there with the Chiefs. Bob Cooney on that and a little bit of 76ers. That's coming up next. Philly. John Marks. Back in 2-2. All right, TrueMark Financial Credit Union. If you're like me, and you have large credit card balances, and you're like, well, hell no, I'm not paying interest charges. I don't pay interest charges, man. I don't. I would go rob a bank. No, I'm just kidding. But I transfer balances, and you can do that right now. So if you have that holiday shopping, the credit card balance, you're like, what am I going to do? Transfer it to a TrueMark Financial Visa credit card. They're offering 0 interest on balance transfers for 12 months. All your payments are going to reducing that balance, not covering interest, because there is no interest. But hurry, you have to apply by February 28th, 2025. Whether you're interested in earning rewards, cash back, or simply prefer a low rate for everyday purchases, TrueMark Financial can choose the credit card that best fits your financial needs. Visit TrueMark.com/compare for full details and to apply today. TrueMark Financial, federally insured by NCUA, equal opportunity lender. Terms and conditions apply. All loans subject to approval. 3% balance transfer fee applies. Standard rates apply after the promotional rate. TrueMark Financial Credit Union. Hooah. All right, glad hair restoration. And listen, I don't want to talk for the next 60 seconds. Let me just sit here for a second and say, look at that hair. Look at that. Look at that. You say, yeah, your hair looks good. All right. But if I showed you a before picture from, let's say, 12 years ago, there's this one picture that I have. I think it's on the website, glatthairmctr.com, where the hairline's not terrible, right? You could see it receding. It's not terrible. It's a picture with my wife right after we got engaged. And it's not, but what would it look like 12 years later? That's the real question. I have an answer for you. It wouldn't look good. So I got ahead of it with Glatt Hair Restoration. All right. And you look at it right now, man, you would have no idea that I had anything done to my hair. So a lot of people out there that think about having a hair restoration procedure, I can tell you with utmost certainty, people in my personal life, colleagues in the media, locally and nationally, have had this procedure done and told nobody, ungats, because you don't have to. If you want to have this done, you can arrange it a couple days off after the procedure. Nobody needs to know that you have it done. And they're the experts in the industry, Glatt Hair Restoration, when it comes to all stages of hair loss. You may not be wanting to do hair restoration. You're just worried about starting to lose hair. You're thinning up here. You can start seeing that bald spot. I'm telling you, the team at Glatt Hair Restoration by Morgenstern Medical have something for you. So, do you want to see more before and after pictures? You want more information? GlattHairMCTR.com, GLAT, hairmctr.com. Or if you'd like to call their office and speak to their hair team right this second, 610-980-4000, 610-980-4000, GlattHairMCTR.com. A lot of people reach out to me with personal questions. They say, hey, tell me more. Let me see some of these before and after pictures you're talking about. I can even hand you off to my girls over at GlattHairMCTR.com, Glatt Hair Restoration. Just email me or slide into my DMs, JONMARKS Media at John Marks Media. Hooah. There you go. All right, Bob Cooney, is he live from his kitchen this morning? Bob Cooney, the longtime voice, both in print and in spoken word in sports radio. And Bob Cooney, he's not in the kitchen this morning, Tyler. You're right. He's in the locker room. I hope he has his clothes on. But he's in the locker room, which is brought to you by TrueMark Financial. That's right. We were just talking about TrueMark. All that holiday shopping, the big credit card balance. Don't pay interest. How about 0 interest until 2026? Balance transfers for 12 months for all your payments. That reduces your balance. It's not covering interest. No interest. Transfer your existing balances from another institution to a TrueMark Financial Visa credit card. Visit TrueMark.com/compare for full details and to apply today. TrueMark Financial, federal insured by NCUA, equal opportunity lender. Terms and conditions apply. All loans subject to approval. 3% balance transfer fee applies. Standard rates apply after the promotional rate. Bob Cooney, what's up, brother?
John, how are you? Tyler, good morning. Everything's great on this Wednesday.
All right. I need 90 seconds on Joel Embiid and the Sixers. Then we'll talk about what really matters right now. He returned last night. I didn't know that he was going to return. At 5:15, it comes down that he's playing in the game. Is Joel Embiid dictating when he plays and when he doesn't play? And I that's almost a rhetorical question. But do you think he showed up to the Wells Fargo Center last night and said, hey, I'm playing tonight? Is that something that Joel Embiid could or has done before?
Sure. I mean, if you're the Sixers organization and Joel Embiid, the player that he is, MVP, all that, leading scorer of the league, comes to you and says, I'm good to go tonight, are you going to say, no, I don't think so, no. Now, I know what you're saying. Part of it is, does he have that much give that he can tell the organization what to do? Yeah, and I think it's been part of a problem with the organization that Ben Simmons, they were given too much latitude when they came in as rookies. And I firmly believe that. I've written that. I've talked to the Sixers about that. So, but I will say this, John, and I watched every second of that game last night. He looked really good. Now, people will roll their eyes as soon as I say that. There's different ways I watch games. There was a play where Sixers took a shot, long rebound. Dallas gets it. You can tell they're going to look to fast break. Embiid was just about under the basket. He ran as hard as he could down. They tried to throw an outlet for a fast break layup, and he got there and tapped it away. Small little thing, but to me, I was like, wow, he's moving. He has energy. He had energy last night, John. He caught the ball, got rid of it. Caught the ball, shot it. Caught the ball, made a move. He had energy. He looked like a different Joel Embiid. When he looks like that, and the team can play around him, and it's not just give him the ball and the rest of the offense goes stagnant, there can be some fun times, but you never know. Look, I covered the team for 9 years. Do I have the answers of, is he going to play? Should they shut him down? What can they do in the playoffs? I can honestly say, I don't know. I don't know. They've been a high seed. They've been a low seed. They've barely gotten in. They haven't gotten past the second round is the only thing that you can say is the one common denominator.
I have the answers, Bob. So if you don't have them, I have the answers. Joel Embiid's he's a great player. He's a great player. Yeah. He's a fabulous talent. I'm so tired of saying it. We know it. His knee's going to give him problems for the rest of his career. He's probably going to have swelling. He even said after the game last night that it's frustrating that he can't get healthy. He hasn't enough time to actually get the knee healthy. He's not healthy. He came back because he decided he wanted to come back, which is fine, but it can't last. They're not going to the Eastern Conference Finals this year. They're not going to the NBA Finals. Can they get into the second round even as a play-in team? Yeah, they can because they have good players on their team too. We already exceeded the 90-second limit that I discussed, right. But at some point, what are we going to do? We're going to do this every year. We're going to keep doing the same thing every year over and over again and get older and get older. I'm so exhausted with this whole thing, Bob.
Yeah, see, I've gotten past that. I'm not exhausted anymore. I just watch and I kind of chuckle. Oh, he looked great tonight. Oh, he's not playing today? Oh, he's out for a week. And I just,
he's out for a month.
So in on that. Okay, let's just see what happens. That's where I am with the Sixers now.
All right. Well, I'm starting to chuckle, Bob, I think locally with the Eagles. Eagles fans have I don't want to say a quiet confidence, but it's we're also not overconfident, right? We know that this is a good football team. We believe that the way that they've played all year is a formula to win in the Super Bowl, right? They don't have to do anything different. They don't have to change what they're doing, right? But now nationally, you're starting to see people turn. So I heard against the Packers, oh, they're going to lose to the Packers. Jalen Hurts hasn't played for weeks, and this is going to be the upset of the weekend. Everybody's picking the Rams, and Jalen Hurts isn't good enough to be a quarterback. He can't throw the ball well enough. Now we're in the friggin' Super Bowl against the Chiefs. Now I see a lot of national people and people that I know that work in the business that are all around the country saying to me, I think the Eagles are going to win the game. The Eagles, I'm picking the Eagles to win the game. They're a really good team. So how does it go from, man, Jalen Hurts isn't good enough, they can't win, they're going to lose, to now it seems like more people are picking the Eagles than they're picking the Chiefs?
Well, it's the same in kind of like any sport, right, John? You'll get your playoff teams and you'll say, oh, that's, record-wise and seeding-wise, these are the better teams and they should. But what do you do? When you're asked predictions, somebody has to say, all right, I got to find one of the higher seeded teams, one of the best teams, and I got to figure that they're going to lose. Which one is it? I think the Eagles were that kind of pick this year, just like you talked about. People look through the board and they're like, we're not going against Detroit. No, not going against Kansas City or Buffalo. Yeah, Eagles. You know what? They're going to slip up. They're going to be one of the top seeds that doesn't get there. And I think it was the fancy pick. I do think that people have looked and been like, wow, Saquon Barkley is unbelievable. Wow, that offensive line and so on and so forth. I kind of agree with the national. Not I kind of agree. You say there's a quiet silence. People around South Jersey where I live that I talk to all the time, they'll tell you, I am overly confident that the Eagles win this. The factor that plays into it, John, isn't even an X and O or anything like that. It's this. There's reasons that no one has won 3 Super Bowls in a row, and teams don't win 3 NBA titles in a row, or hockey or baseball, whatever. It's really hard to do.
Yeah.
And there's a mentality of it. Now, I'm not saying that Mahomes and Andy Reid and Kelsey don't have the mentality to do it, but I just think it's really hard. And I think after this game, what we're going to be saying is, yeah, I wonder if that's the end of the Kansas City kind of dynasty. Is Kelsey done? You know, the
Right.
receivers aren't good. They're going to have to redo that and all. I do. I think this is where the Kansas City dynasty for right now kind of slips up and falls a little bit, and the Eagles take this one, and I think rather handily.
Yeah, so Tyler, we're hearing a lot of that. We're hearing double digits. I'm hearing I believe this. I think if a team wins by 10 points or more, the Eagles are the better shot to win by 10 points or more. Just because I could see that happening. I can't see Kansas City putting up a ton of points and routing the Eagles because of the Eagles defense. So people actually finally watched an entire Eagles game. Is that what happened against the Commanders? And they saw what Saquon Barkley could do, which they knew, but now they actually saw it with their own eyes. And then they saw the defense. And this isn't a Jonathan Gannon soft defense that's just getting quarterback sacks. Imagine this, Bob. They're punching the ball out. They're creating turnovers. The defense is obviously the difference. I think they just finally, everybody sat down and wasn't paying attention to any other game and said, wow, this really is a good team. This really is a good team.
Yeah.
I'm confident, the Eagles are going to win the Super Bowl. They're winning their second Super Bowl in 8 years, and I believe that. You know what? You're going to make me even more confident, Bob Cooney. Thank you.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. Yeah, sure, more people are watching because there's less games, right? And all over the country, you can't watch your favorite team because they're not playing right now. You know, people are watching. They go, Zach Bond, wow, that 53 is kind of all over the place. And then they hear Tom Brady say, wait, he's up for defensive player of the year? What? They have a linebacker like that? And then they start talking about Jalen Carter, and they start comparing him to the best defensive lineman kind of all time. And, you know, it opens people's eyes. And you say, wow, that's a rookie corner there? They have two guys in the secondary that are up for defensive rookie of the year. So, yeah, I think people do step back and they say, that's not even counting Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith and that offensive line. So, sure, more people are becoming aware of it. I just like everything that's kind of coming about this week of the Eagles also, John, the way they're handling themselves down there, the words that are spoken. I think Nick Sirianni is just so much more comfortable than he was, obviously, the first time he went. I'm not a homer. You guys know it. That hasn't been my job for many, many years. I don't sit here and go, yeah, the home team's going to win. I'm a realist. I really think that they're going to beat this team on Sunday, and I think it's going to be somewhat convincingly. Now, the one person that scares me on Kansas City is their defensive coordinator. Steve Spagnuolo is just such a good defensive coordinator, and the different ways he goes about getting to the quarterback. Jalen Hurts is going to have to be spot on, not only physically, but mentally also on Sunday.
Yeah, it's a great point, and it's something that I've repeated kind of over and over again. If this game comes down to 2 or 3 plays, which it very well could, that's how Kansas City plays, right? They're gonna make less mistakes, and Spagnuolo's gonna. The Josh Allen where he had to throw the ball and Kincaid ended up dropping it. Did anybody see that blitz coming off the corner? And they're so good with their corner blitzes. 1, 2, 3 plays, Jalen takes a sack so he doesn't see something coming. It creates a turnover. That's how the Chiefs win, is because their defense creates something. Because if you're playing the long game and the Eagles play the way that they've been playing, which is not turning the football over. I mean, both these teams really haven't turned the football over. 10 touchdowns, no turn, or 10 forced turnovers, and they haven't had any giveaways. That's how you win. How they lose if Spagnuolo dials up some blitzes and there's a couple mistakes made. And and that's a possibility because the Chiefs are very, very good. That defense is very, very good.
It is. And that play that you bring up with Josh Allen is one that's resonated in my head that can't happen to the Eagles. And I'm not talking about just having pressure. If Jalen Hurts sees the pressure, he can't go back. Like Josh Allen has a cannon for an arm. Josh Allen can go 15 yards behind the line of scrimmage and he'll still find something with that arm. If Jalen Hurts sees something and he's going back, that to me, that arm just isn't good enough to hit somebody 30 yards downfield, kind of on the move, 40 yards downfield. He needs to step up quicker. And that's what I want to see. I want to see this Eagles offense decisive early on, just like we saw in the last game, like get the ball out, whether it's Scott, whether it's AJ, whoever it is, get it out. I get tired of the Eagles have to adapt to the defense. No, make the defense adapt to what you're doing. Come out and And Kellen Moore has to have a game plan. To me, that's a quick hitting one that Kansas City is going to have to adjust to. That's what I want to see early on, and I'm pretty confident that we are going to see that.
I just slacked you something, Tyler, if you could grab that to put up before we get before Bob leaves us. Yeah, like the reaction of when I hear Kellen Moore's name now, I hear like, USOB, how dare you want to take an NFL job while we're in the Super Bowl? It better not affect you. Not that I don't know how you would know it would affect them, but Jonathan Gannon ruined it for at least any coordinator in Philadelphia without us hating him because of what happened with Gannon. But yeah, Kellen Moore's staring down the barrel of taking a job in New Orleans. So he doesn't have to leave the city. He can just stay there and he can have his press conference.
Yeah, he might be signing a contract on Monday or something like that, right? But
seems like
yeah, that's a distraction. Sure. I mean, like John, in our lives, you change jobs, you get a new job. I don't care what the job is or what you're doing. It's huge. It's huge for you, for your family, let alone that this is on a national stage, that many, many more people know about it than anything with us. But, from what I've kind of gathered or just read and all that, I think he's tuned in. I don't think, although we didn't know with Gannon until game day, but he does have the luxury of a Jalen Hurts, all the offensive weapons that we have mentioned. I think they'll be okay offensively. I really do. And I think, I heard a stat the other day that Devontae Smith has had great.
Yes. Oh, no. Oh, we lost Bob live. Oh, there he is. He's back.
I got people calling. But Devontae Smith, as I was saying, he's had great games against the Kansas City Chiefs. That's something we got to keep an eye on. Hopefully Kellen Moore dials that up. I'm really anxious to watch this offense on Sunday.
20 catches in 3 games, 20 catches for 321 yards for Devontae. Yeah, I mean, it's a good point. And by the way, Kellen Moore already has a job. He doesn't have to worry about interview. He has a job. Let's face it. Unless he backs out of it, everybody else has been told they're not getting the job. They've removed their name from it. He's getting the job. Now he has a chance to win a Super Bowl as the offensive coordinator, right? He has every incentive to be plugged in and to be dialed in and win this game. So I'm not worried about that at all. All right, so Bob, I saw you in Phoenix on Radio Row. You were out there. I was out there. We're both doing our radio shows. I saw Bob out there, but we were both. What's that?
We saw each other in Minnesota also.
Which is what I'm bringing up right now. So it was.
I'm sorry.
I don't even know what night this was, but it was in the Mall of America when they had the welcome party or something. So I see Bob, and you have to understand, and I've heard people say they hated it in the Mall of America. I loved it. I thought it was great being in the Mall of America. So we're at this welcome party at night, and I see Bob, and we're talking, and who comes cruising down like there's a 9 West and a Foot Locker in front of us? Who comes cruising next to us? There she is. Holly Robinson Pete. And I love her. She's awesome. Married to ex-Eagle Rodney Pete, hanging with Mr. Cooper, local girl from Germantown. And I was like, hi, whatever. And we took a selfie with Holly Robinson Pete. I still have it.
I wouldn't have remembered, but I do. I don't remember taking that picture, but I did pull her aside and talk to her a little bit because we have something in common where we both have sons with autism. And I told her how much I appreciate. Yeah, I told her how much I appreciate all the work that she and Rodney do nationally, because as parents, that's all we want. We want people to be educated so that if they can lend a hand or whatever. And she and Rodney just do a great, great job. So yeah, I did have a chance to talk with her a little bit. That's a good pull by you, John Marks.
I always think about it because when I tweeted it out, no one actually said anything to me, but I got a lot of, he works for the other station. And I'm like, oh, so I have to, he doesn't exist because but I left it up there. I was like, yeah, so what? And I'm friends with him, all right? It's Holly Robinson, so I'm not going to crop him out because it makes you feel uncomfortable, you weirdos. But
yeah, I remember one of the first conversations we had in Minnesota was, I think you and Ike walking by, and I was on the air, and I said, what time? And you guys are like, yeah, we'll be upstairs at 6:00. So we all met and got something to eat and a drink or whatever.
Yeah.
Friendship doesn't change because of jobs.
No.
It shouldn't.
It shouldn't. If you're friends, you're friends, right? So, all right. Well, listen, what are you doing for the game? Where are you going?
So it's funny. I can't, and I'm sure I'm like many people, I can't do huge out in the bar or something like that. Parties, right. Yeah, but not if the Eagles are playing. So we're kind of having an intimate gathering at one of our friends' house in the next town over. I think we'll go there for probably a half, and then I'll get anxious because that's how I get, John. So at halftime, I bolt home and I'll watch the second half, from my usual spot.
I will be watching. I don't know what we're doing yet, but I will be home because I have a 3-year-old and she can't be out till 11 o'clock at night. So we're going to leave. We'll watch the halftime show, or actually, I don't even care about that this year, and we'll get home. But yeah, like I need my puke bucket next to me. I'm telling you, man. The NFC Championship, even the NFC Championship game, I was about to throw up.
Is that right?
Yeah, dude, I am. We see me with the Phillies. I literally throw up in Phillies playoff games. It's unbelievable. Oh,
how about that? Yes, maybe it's an age thing where I take it in, and maybe I don't know, maybe I'm just accustomed to either being real happy or being real upset or whatever. But I kind of just try to keep an even level and not get too up or not get too down. And when the Eagles, this is weird, but when the Eagles won the Super Bowl a few years ago, we were in Minnesota together. I got a phone call, and my wife's father took real sick, and I had to come home, and he passed away right before the Eagles won the Super Bowl.
Oh, my God.
So watching the Super Bowl was kind of a down time where my kids and our nieces and nephews, his grandchildren, all of my father-in-law's grandchildren, were with us watching the game. And while we were excited, there was, a little kind of stay. But I teased because he was a Dallas Cowboys fan, and I said, that son of a bitch never wanted to see me see the Eagles Super Bowl.
You're funny, man. You're funny. All right, well, listen, enjoy it. We'll talk to you next week after the Eagles win the Super Bowl, and we'll talk about the parade and everything.
You got it, buddy.
All right, Bob. There he is, live from the locker room. Bob Cooney, brought to you by Truemark Financial Credit Union. All right, we're late. We'll be back. We're going to wake Jamie Lynch up. Has he responded back, or are we going to call him on the air? Jamie Lynch, we're gonna call him and try to wake him up. Possibly next, right here, Philly with John Marks. PHLY. Why? We mentioned it earlier on the program. BetParks app. It's the only online casino and sportsbook app that I would ever use. Birds are now 1-point underdogs. It's come down by a half of a point against Kansas City. My advice, if you're betting the Birds, and like who's betting Kansas City watching this right now? If you're betting the Birds, I would get it now because I think there's a better chance it goes down to a half a point or a pick 'em than it goes up to a 1.5 or 2 points. All right, so I'd buy it now. Over under 48.5. So whether your team scores or not, there's always another way to win on the BetParks online casino and sportsbook app. And how about this? We're talking about props and betting this and betting that. What about blackjack, craps, poker, roulette, and hot online slots while watching the game? Make your downtime fun time. Play lots of hot online slots like Tyler. Tyler is marriage is in trouble. He plays so many online slots. Play blackjack with a live dealer right on your phone. That's correct. Download the app right now. Enjoy all the action and excitement from the casino at your fingertips. New users download the app. Get up to $1,000 casino bonus back if you're down the first 24 hours. Your casino bonus must be wagered. BetParks.com for details. You must be 21 and in PA, New Jersey, or Maryland for the BetParks app. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Hoo-ah. All right, so let's talk about Central City Toyota for a second. We got to get Uncle Jamie on at some point with his prediction because he was in fuego. He was unbelievable with his college football locks during the playoffs. He had one loss, like 11-12-1 or something like that. But listen, he's equally as good at being the general manager of Central City Toyota. He is. Central City Toyota in the heart of University City, 55 years on Chestnut Street. You survive in the car business that long if you're a good business, right? And that's the story with Central City Toyota. It's just the best service in the area. Largest service and parts department in the city of Philadelphia. So if you're looking for service on your car, you need new tires. They're always running some kind of specials. Buy 3, get 4 tire for free. I got that a couple months back. But if you work in Center City, and you need your you need your car service. Worst thing is because you work all week. Now it's a Saturday morning and you're like, oh man, I got to go to the dealership or I got to go here to get the oil changed or to get the car serviced. No. You don't have to do that. CentralCityToyota.com. You can schedule an appointment on their website. They will actually come to you if you're in the Center City area and grab your car and take it to the dealership, service it, drop it back off. Boom. CentralCityToyota.com. Also, their entire selection. Certified Toyotas. Brand new Toyotas. They have a sister dealership in Ardmore. All of them right there. Browse their selection. Who isn't looking up to grade their ride? CentralCityToyota.com, and my Uncle Jamie is the GM. He'll take great care of you. If you want to, just go right in the dealership and yell, I want to talk to Uncle Jamie. CentralCityToyota.com. Check him out. There you go. All right. I noticed this on camera. I don't know if people saw it. And I'm not going to take my pants down because that wouldn't be nice. But I'm getting so old, Tyler, that I have been wearing and it's cold, I've been wearing my pajama pants underneath my jeans on a lot of days. And I was up super duper early this morning because I had a couple of things I had to do before we went on the air. And I was so cold this morning. And I'm like, all right, I just put my jeans right over the pajama pants. A lot of times I tuck the high socks into it so you can't then see it. But today I had the low socks on. Tyler's looking at me like I'm embarrassed to be on the show with him.
I got to be honest. I am a big believer in whatever makes you happy.
Except in this
right?
case.
You do you, whatever makes you happy.
And this is a Grinch shirt.
I'm not sure. I think I would have kept that one. I think I would have kept that one to myself.
Well, I could see it I could see it when I looked at my shot, and you could see the red because there's the red, this right here. I could see it. And it clearly wasn't coming from a sock. So I made the observation like, oh, that's right. I do have my pajama pants on today. So yes, a lot of times, maybe earlier in my life, Tyler, I went commando and I had nothing underneath my pants. That is not the case anymore. I have multiple layers at all times. Before, like when you're a younger guy, you wear shorts to bed and a t-shirt, or shorts and no shirt, or maybe a tank top or whatever. I wear socks, pajama pants, and long sleeve shirt or pajama top during the winter because I am cold.
Wow. All right. Hey, man, whatever works for you. Are you comfortable at night? That's all that matters.
Oh, I feel so good, man. I feel so warm. It's all right. Couple things here. Did Jamie respond back? Should we just try calling him or
he has not.
All right. Well, let me talk about this and then we'll bother him. So I obviously Myles Garrett came out and said he wanted to be traded. Not so coincidentally, on the Monday of Super Bowl week, where now the focus for the day and longer now is, oh my God, Myles Garrett. Now the Browns GM Andrew Berry came out and said we're not trading him, which I would say the same thing. Now whether or not they have to end up trading him or not remains to be seen. So now the Eagles, like any player that gets released, any player that gets that could be traded for, every Eagle fan wants that player. Even if it's like, well, we already have 2 wide receivers that are making a ton. No, go get that wide receiver. Like, okay. So you need 4 wide receivers that are number 1 wide receivers. All right, that doesn't make a lot of sense. Anyway, with Myles Garrett, I mean, who wouldn't want a player like Myles Garrett? He is an amazing, amazing player, amazing talent, has been worth every last drop of being the number 1 overall pick in the draft. He is. He's one of these generational edge rushers, defensive ends, plays the run well. I mean, hell, didn't he jump over the line and block a field goal in the game against the Eagles this year, right? I'm remembering that correctly.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably, to me, he might be the best defensive player in football.
Year after year.
Him, Micah Parsons.
I'll take Myles Garrett over Micah Parsons.
Those are the guys you're talking about. Like, I think Myles Garrett is the preeminent game wrecker defensive player. To me, he's the best defensive player in football.
I agree. Andrew Berry being formerly in the Eagles front office, and like a disciple of Howie Roseman. Now Howie has these assistant GMs that have turned into GMs. He's got a GM tree around the league. But so the relationships there, and with Howie's very good at making deals because he has these relationships around the NFL, especially with guys that he used to work with or who used to work for him. But it stops there. The Eagles are not trading for Myles Garrett. And everybody that wants to threaten me or argue with me or whatever, I'm not looking at my mentions on Twitter. I'm finished with doing it. Forget about the fact that the Eagles have the number 1 defense in football. Myles Garrett's not a free agent signing. It's not just about paying Myles Garrett $40 million a year, which is what you would have to essentially pay him on a new contract. He get quarterback money. You're going to have to trade not 1, not 2. You have to trade 2 first-round draft picks and then some. And remember, those first-round draft picks for the Eagles are at the bottom of the first round. they're not even middle of the road first round draft picks. They're not in the teens, or you can't speculate and be like, all right, well, that draft pick in 2026 could be a top 10 or it could be a top 15. Eagles are going to be this year 31 or 32. Next year, I would be shocked if they weren't in the same neighborhood, right? So you're giving up 2 first round draft picks and more. You're not getting them for less than 2 first round draft picks and more. And then you're paying them $40 million on top of that. This team has been built very smartly by investing in draft picks and picking the right guys. Jalen Carter. Nolan Smith was 30th overall, who looks like he is for real and is going to be here a long time. He's not Myles Garrett, not trying to say that he is, and Garrett's also 29 years old. He'll be good for a number of years, but you're paying a guy at the top of the market. You're giving up a ton of talent. The Eagles are in the friggin' Super Bowl and have the top defense in football. Why are you going to give up all these draft picks and all that money to get a defensive end? It makes no sense. It makes no sense at all. And I think it's crazy. Like, it's an interesting discussion. All right. Like, I'll say that if we want to do takes and we want to do this and want to do that, the Eagles ain't trading for Myles Garrett, everybody. And they'd be crazy to trade for Myles Garrett. Tyler, do you agree with that, or are you on the contrarian side?
I agree with your first sentiment. I disagree with your second sentiment. I think the Eagles are not going to trade for Myles Garrett. I don't believe that they will trade for Myles Garrett.
But should they?
Should they? I think is different than,
Sure.
Yeah, I think that they absolutely, your goal is to continually get better. That's a way to get better. And I understand that the cap stipulation is your holdup, I think, right? And that's to you is like the big hold, like you're giving up draft capital plus cap stipulation.
It's draft capital. I don't care about the money. They can, and at some point, don't they have to stop being able to pay players? But the salary cap's BS.
So to me, the draft capital conversation, if it is so you're talking about 30, 31 or 32 this year, no doubt about it. You're probably talking about your first round pick next year, I would think as well. This is a team that gave up a first round pick for A.J. Brown. This is a team that gave up a first round pick for Jason Peters over the years. This is a team that's willing to move first round picks if they're getting a guy in return that they think is equal to or better than that first round pick.
Desperate need.
Correct.
A.J. Brown was a desperate need.
Probably so was Jason Peters, too.
Jason Peters was a desperate need.
In the fill-to-fill left tackle. It's not a desperate need to acquire Myles Garrett as your premier edge rusher. But what it does, if you do give up your 31 or 32 this year and you're 28 or whatever next year.
Plus.
You're talking about, are those two players going to be as valuable to you in the next 2 to 3 years? And you've talked about sustainability, and you're correct. There is a sustainable model to what the Eagles have built this year and in the last couple of years with young core and young talent around them. Isn't that the time? We talked about it with Saquon Barkley. Isn't that the time to go and acquire those type of players? Because you don't have to worry about Jalen Hurts' salary cap implications till 2027, I believe. That's when it gets, pretty substantial. So in the next 2-year window, isn't that kind of the time frame to go and make those? Are
you re-signing Zach Bond?
I think you're going to try to, for sure.
And you're going to pay Myles Garrett $40 million? Are you re-signing?
You're not re-signing Joshua.
Kobe Dean?
Is Dean up next year? I thought it was 2 years.
It's his fourth season. That's what I'm saying.
That's a third round pick.
It's just not about a next year. And you can design the cap any way you want to, and Howie's very good at doing that, obviously. But you also have players you have to sign on defense to keep the defense good,
which is fair.
Listen, if they got Myles Garrett, I wouldn't go kicking and screaming. I wouldn't do it. But I wouldn't do it. This defense is very good. You don't need to add a guy like that.
To get back to your initial point, do I think they make the move? No, I do not. I think somebody else is going to acquire Myles Garrett. I don't believe it's going to be the Philadelphia Eagles.
All right. There you go. Should we call Jamie on the air? All right, let me see here. Uh-oh. Call ended. Why? Is my foot?
He blocked you. He said, stop calling me. 7 o'clock in the morning.
Is that really what he's done? All right, let me try this.
I'm just kidding.
No, because every call that I make, does this ever happen with your phone to where it's like the service goes down? Are you serious?
Yeah, you can't do anything.
Yeah, it just automatically fails it and you have to turn it off or whatever. Oh my God. There's my wife. I have a Target pickup. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I'm usually Target pickup. There's still people to this day because I went to Target, if you remember, during I was throwing up over the Phillies game and they were losing, and I said, you know what, I got to get the hell out of here. I'm driving to Target to do a pickup. There's still these people out there today on social media that are like, you're not even a real Phillies fan. Why would I take you seriously? You went to Target during the playoff game. Oh man, people are so funny. People are so funny. All right, let me try.
And I will say this, because I've seen people tweet you back. There's one person in particular, and I'm not giving them the time of day. To,
I know who it is.
They're a miserable human being.
Right, I know.
They are miserable about everything in life. So don't take that individual person. Don't take too much.
No, it makes me laugh. In the moment, you want to wring their neck. And it's not because of that, because that's funny that he's mad at me because I went to Target. It's that Wade Miller's going to be the starting third baseman in May. And it's like, no, he's not, you idiot. He's 20 years old. He's not going to be the starting third baseman. You don't even know what you're talking about. You're questioning my Phillies credentials. Don't question my Phillies credentials, damn it. What else do we have here? So let's play the worst, best question of the Super Bowl. And this is courtesy, you might have seen this gone viral. So this is Rich Schertenlieb, who was a morning show host in Boston on the sports radio station up there, 98.5 The Sports Hub, for many, many years, who left the show at the end of 2024. And then he did a non-sports show, which got taken off very, very quickly. So he's independent, but he still went out. Do you just have the Kelce question, or do you have where he was asking Mahomes the question too? If it's just Kelce, that's fine. So
I have both. I didn't know if you wanted both.
Yeah, so he's done this at previous Super Bowls, and it's weird because he's not really like this on the air, but he goes up and he does like a stuttering. He's like stuttering John type questions. If you're a Stern fan, where he's asking questions that are supposed to make you feel uncomfortable and get a rise out of the players. So he's at media night, and it's funny. He has a mic flag that just says sports on it, which is so rich. But here it is. This is probably the best/worst question of the
Super Bowl. Rich, we're here at Super Bowl opening night, and we got some questions that need to be answered. Patrick, for your whole career, you have had so many great people help you win. So who is your favorite ref?
That's hilarious. All the refs are great. All the refs are great. They do the best they can. Go out there and play the game the right way.
Is there one that you give a Christmas card to every year, possibly?
Not that I can remember. I'll have to talk to some of my teammates and try to figure it out.
Travis, what do you love more, Taylor Swift or phantom 15-yard roughing the passer penalties in the playoffs?
That's a good question. Anybody else?
Oh my God. And the aggregators that put that out there were so mad. Like, all right, it's me. That's what media night does. The opening night does. You get Rich that goes there, and that's pretty funny. Yes, because you didn't see that coming. How he asked it, right? Who do you love more, or phantom 15-yard rubbing the passer penalty? Shout out to everybody watching on TV. Switch over to allphly.com for the rest of the program.
You know what's funny too? I really don't. The way that both of those guys handled it, they handled them differently, but I don't have any issue with the way that either of them handled it. Like Patrick Mahomes was clearly irritated, but he was like, you know what? Let me give you an answer. And Travis Kelce basically said, in the most professional way possible, bleep you, next question.
Yeah, exactly. Without saying bleep you, which I'm sure you wanted to say. Yeah, like, no, Travis handled it fine. It was like, that is not, I could never be the one that goes up and asks these questions. That's not me. I like it when the other people do it if it's funny or whatever, but it just makes you feel so uncomfortable. Because then he's following up and Patrick Mahomes is trying to be like, oh yeah, no, like he's trying to be a good sport about it and not be a dick. And then Kelce was just like, yeah, good question. Next, great. Next question. Oh yeah, he handled it great. I wouldn't want to. What do you love more?
Like, listen, these guys know you're gonna. It's Super Bowl media week. Like, you're gonna get silly questions along the way. It's just how it goes.
Listen, you want to date Taylor Swift. It's good. You're gonna get clowned on by some people. Sorry,
but that was a setup. That was intentionally set up to make those guys look bad. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
We've heard silly questions. So I think Jameis Winston asked somebody, "What's your favorite color?" Like,
Right.
You get some.
There's the difference between silly questions
right.
and just being a dick. And certainly was going out there to get the reaction that he got. And actually, he didn't really get it, but he probably got a couple million views. I don't know what that's going to get him in the grand scheme of things, but no, it was pretty funny. I got a chuckle out of Kelsey's reaction because it was a good one, man. And you're right. It's both guys were fine with it. All right, we're back tomorrow with a Thursday. Damn. So listen, the week's going by fast. It's already Wednesday. 2 more shows left. And then the Super Bowl on Sunday, man. Shout out to everybody on the chat. Lively chat this morning. Shout out to you. Appreciate it. Watch live every morning, 8 to 9 a.m. Philly with John Marks. Make sure you're smashing the subscribe button on YouTube for PHLY. Like, comment, subscribe, please. And also our podcast listeners. And you can also watch on TV. Xfinity, Roku, Samsung Plus, the fast channels. Search PHLY. You can find us live every morning at 8 o'clock. And then the programming rotates. I know that I was at Razor Bar get my haircut tomorrow, or get my haircut yesterday. They have the PHLY channel up there. I walked in and they're like, "Oh, we watch you every morning." I'm like, cool. All right, shout out to everybody. We're back tomorrow. Switch over to Anthony. He's live right now. See ya.
We all silly like the mayor.